Yo, so much information in the Dynasty deep dive. My main focus is the coach's progression. And the question I really want to answer today is what we're going to do with this information on day one. All right, so once again, the deep dive, I got to give a shout out to EA for this one, man. Like, this thing was absolutely detailed. And even crazier is that there was a lot of the creators that played the game early and they were dropping, goose eggs or what you want to call it, tidbits or whatever, on Twitter. So there's a lot of information here. I'm not gonna lie, but what I want to focus on today, and I might do another video because I don't want things to be long-winded. I don't want to have a 45-minute video. I just think that's just absolutely insane. No one's going to be there that long. But I want to talk about the coach's progression and the archetype system and how that's going to affect us when it comes into playing 26. Because the thing is this, our natural instinct is to go immediately when we go into dynasty mode and just start building our coach the way we did in 25. And there's a couple things that stand out to me that made me be like, probably don't want to do that. Okay, so let's just kind of run through this real quick over what their coach's progression is, because I know y'all probably watched other videos and seen this, so I want mine to be a little bit different in the fact of I want this to be more of a conversation piece of how this is going to affect us in 26 and what should be the first thing you should do when you get college football 26 in your hands. Okay, so it says that last year we saw players hitting the level cap too early, maxing out progression well before later years of their dynasty, which was not what we intended. While we still believe you cannot be great at everything, your coaching journey should evolve over time with new decisions and challenges emerging each season. And I definitely agree with that 100%. I don't think this is even debatable. I mean, people were literally just maxing out coaches within 3 years. And again, it is, like, you wanted this to be a journey. Like, you really want to feel like every single season matters, not only for building your team, but also building your coach. So I agree with that. It says in college football 26, the maximum coach level has been increased from 50 to 100, which we knew about that because we saw that in the leaks. Additionally, we completely rebalanced the amount of XP each goal earns to better reflect its frequency and difficulty. We've also introduced a new level progression curve designed to provide early momentum while creating a much larger tail of growth. You'll still see meaningful development in early years, but reach the top new requirements to sustain success across the full arc of your coaching career. Basically, that's a lot to digest, but what they're saying is, and really the big main focus here is like, we've introduced a new level progression curve designed to provide early momentum when creating a much larger tail of growth. And they're going to jump into that a little bit more when it comes to the coach's archetypes too. But basically, if you stay within your coaching, the first one you start off with, let's say for recruiter, if you stay within recruiter, to be an elite recruiter is going to be cheaper, and it's going to allow you to progress the elite recruiter faster. And that's kind of the same thing it goes with XP, with a combination of things like the assistant coaches. Like, again, there's so much involved, and I don't want to be bouncing around, so I want to stay like in course. But it says the amount of XP from each archetype perk now scales by archetype tier. So that's what I was talking about. Elite archetypes like Elite Recruiter, Master Motivator, and Scheme Guru offer double the amount of XP as the 3 base archetypes. Then you have the archetypes. Hybrid archetypes, which Talent Developer, Strategist, and Architect, offer more than Elite archetypes, and Program Builder and CEO can offer upwards of 10 times more XP than a base tier archetype. In order to quickly and efficiently scale your coach level and power, it is imperative that you invest in higher level archetypes and then focus on activating that perk as many times as you can. So what this basically is going to do, and again, this kind of goes back to what you want to do day one. You want to quickly establish what you want to be. And again, we're going to see later on that it probably might not be what it was last year. Again, it could be we're a recruiter. People want to go recruiter motivator, but the each little recruiter motivator, all that stuff has changed within them, and these other ones are going to be valued like pretty much the same across the board. Now, again, this is all predicated off your desire of what you want. But if you go on with the recruiter side, just understand that there's going to be other archetypes that are basically going to dominate in other areas more than it did in 25. So you can't just brush over these. they're all going to basically hold the same amount of weight. Even though might be getting better recruits, if someone else has, like the strategic archetype and they're able to really, or no, just a tactician, and they're able to really develop these players, that 3-star player is going to, and within 4 years, is going to be way further advanced than that 4 or 5-star player that you have if you don't have any type of development, right? So just because you can recruit talent, now you have to be able to develop them. And what's going to really restrict it is the simple fact that now you just can't see like, yo, I'm about to just go ahead and get recruiter, then I'm about to go and get motivator, then I'm gonna go back and get elite recruiter. No, you can't do that no more, because what you're doing is you're wasting so many points by doing that. You have to, again, naturally progress, which I'm kind of reading between the lines, and again, it's open discussion. I want y'all to answer the question. It seems to me that you kind of want to stay still for a couple years and really try to get to program builder first. Because once you get the program builder, or if you're fortunate enough to get to CEO, what that's going to do is allow all these other branches or these abilities, archetypes, to be cheaper, and it's going to allow you to flow. Again, that's kind of how I'm taking it, but I really want y'all to let me know in the comment section, how do y'all feel about that? Because to me, it just seems like things are just so much different. And then here we go. Remember, your staff doesn't just help with your abilities. They activate archetype perks, contribute to your XP growth as well. Anytime your team triggers one of your coordinators perks, you share in the XP gains, which is huge. Coaches, choosing the right coordinators can significantly increase your progression speed. And again, I felt like last year it was just completely stack it up, right? Make sure your assistant coaches had recruiter and motivator, and you were just cooking with grease, right? It was just too easy, right? It was too easy and just too self-explanatory. It's like, if you were doing anything else, you were not building a team, right? You were not. So again, I love the idea of being able to have assistant coaches now not necessarily have to double stack with them, but then fill in other areas. If you want to be a high recruiter, then maybe this year what you want to do is, yo, I'm gonna be the recruiter, but I need assistant coach to be a tactician, because because we're recruiting these players, now we got to figure out how we can develop these players. Or you start off as a tactician, which again, we can go ahead and jump to this part, because this is where things really change than last year than it is this year. It says, to start, the 3 base archetypes, recruiter, motivator, and tactician, now require a minimum coach level to unlock. So you just can't jump right into it. And that's why I said it might be a good idea to just go ahead and build up, try to get to program builder. I'm not sure what the requirements are going to be, but try to look at program builder and CEO. See what those requirements are before you do that, because the last thing you want to do, especially the user dynasty, where you just can't say, dang, I want to start back over with my coach, which, most people are probably going to start their leagues on the 10th. So you're going to have a brand new coach, and we still don't understand how this archetype system works. So what you're probably going to want to do, and this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to hold my horses a little bit. I'm not about to just get my coach to a certain level and then start trying to be a recruiter off rip, or motivator or tactician. I really want to understand this game, right? So keep that in mind. This is a good thing that you get to wait for. You have to wait a little bit before you can unlock, one of these 3 main archetypes. It says, this change encourages more focused investment early in your career, making the initial archetype choice even more meaningful, which I just said. It's no longer a quick jump between archetypes. Instead, your coach will grow into their identity over time. This helps reinforce the rock, paper, scissors relationship, not just between archetypes, but also between you and your coordinators. Again, coordinators keep popping up. This is going to be very important with these coordinators. Choosing a staff that complements or counters your strength is more important than ever. I am already reading between the lines and feel like the double stacking of your coordinators is not going to be a good idea. I really feel like you need to choose your path. And then it's just almost like Nick Saban, right? Nick Saban was a tactician. He had great recruiters. His coordinators were good recruiters, but he focused on being a tactician and the CEO and running the ship. He wasn't sitting there trying to recruit. Same thing for Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders ain't going into your house, right? He's focused on being a motivator. So I feel like they're looking at some of the great coaches and saying, like, you know what, like, they're not, like, they're really just one thing. And then they put everybody else around them to basically complement. Now, again, I'm not trying to say stacking is going to be a bad thing, but what I will say is that if you are stacking the wrong ones, which I feel like EA is not crazy, they're not going to let you be the meta like it was last year and stack recruiter and stack motivator. It's not going to happen, right? So just again, you can't bring the 25 mindset into 26. So if you get on this game and you're playing the user dynasty and you know you're gonna and you sit there and start stacking up a recruiter, and then after like the first season you're looking like, damn man, I can't, like my team is not developing, or because you rushed, right? So again, take that time when you're leveling up to really, do your research, check out what other YouTubers are doing. Some of these YouTubers have really good Discord systems, which is good. This is going to be my first year with a Discord. The link will be in the description, where we're going to be having a group of guys and gals that are literally, their main focus is going to be this: simulating tons and tons of years of Dynasty, figuring out what is going to be the best coaching tree, okay? And then this also said, we've also introduced scaling archetype costs, and this is what I talked about in the beginning. Each archetype you unlock becomes incrementally more expensive, encouraging more intentional choices as your coaching journey evolves. So as you start to upgrade, say for instance tactician, understand they're going to become more and more expensive to get. So even though you get to level 100, it still does, it looks like to me, it still might feel like 50, because these things are costing more. Okay, it says, for example, if you start as a recruiter, becoming an elite recruiter would be much cheaper than trying to learn a completely new skill set and become a motivator. So basically what they're saying is that if you're putting time and effort into a recruiter, your journey is going to be cheaper and you will save a lot more points by continuing going to elite motivator and filling up that whole side, compared to if you go to be a motivator. The motivator just at tier 1 is going to be more expensive than elite recruiters at tier 2. Understand that. So you're going to be cheaper if you filled up already recruiter, then going to elite recruiter is going to be cheaper. Just like in real life, it's easier to grow within an existing area of expertise than to take on a new unrelated skill set. Okay. It says program, this is what I'm talking about. Program builder and CEO archetypes are the exceptions. And this is why I said in the beginning, right? As broader leadership focused archetypes, rather than specific coaching disciplines, they are not impacted by scaling costs and remain more accessible once you meet their unlocked requirements. I feel, which it should be from day one, is that if CEO and program builder perks should be the best in the game. And that's why I think while you're still learning is to hold back on trying to do anything with recruiter, tactician, motivator, and really try to win games, really try to build your program by just winning, right? Winning, getting conference championships, division championships, right? So you can open up program builder and start to get those benefits, which is going to make it a lot easier and for you to decide which direction you want to go with the other archetypes. That's just my opinion. Obviously that can change once we get our hand on the game, but to me it's just more like common sense. They're telling you right here, right, that it's just cheaper, and we know in real life that's how it is. That's how it is also, right? So again, it just makes more sense. It says it's always easier to learn a new skill set when you're working alongside someone who already mastered it. That idea was reflected in friends and family discountability within the program builder archetype. That is going to be very important, which reduces the cost of unlocking archetypes already owned by another coach, right? So why not hold your horses, try to get the friends and family discount, okay? And then use your assistant coaches to help build up your tree, right? It's different than it was last year. It's right here written right in our face. This is something that they're telling us that this is the route that you should go, okay? Scaling archetype costs is even more important that you surround yourself within the right people. The right staff doesn't just support your strategy on the field, it can shape the path of your growth off of it too. Every coaching decision you make matters, okay? Along with these structure changes, we've also rebalanced the abilities with each archetype. This rebalance creates clearer trade-offs between archetypes, further emphasizing the rock, paper, scissors relationship between coaching styles. In addition, we adjusted the cost of abilities within each archetype tier to better reflect their impact and importance, encouraging more thoughtful progression as you build your coach. We've also added new abilities across various archetypes, giving you even more ways to specialize and differentiate your coaching identity over time. Now, we talked about the talent developer, and again, as you see with talent developer that they showed, let me tell you something. People, they don't just put random stuff up here, right? they're showing talent developer for a reason, because obviously the individual that worked with this, he feels like, yo, like I really went crazy on talent developer. And you look at it and you can see it says for tier 1, pay it forward. Now, bonus XP for D-lines when D linemen are drafted. It says the second tier is freshman and sophomore defensive linemen progress faster. Remember, this stuff right here is basically from Motivator, right? Starting defensive linemen will gain XP faster, and then boost to pipeline bonus for defensive linemen. Do you understand how crazy talent developer is? So just imagine if you went straight onto the game and just went to Motivator and Recruiter and not even thinking about, you know what, maybe I want to develop talent. Because developing talent is, to me, one of the 3 most important things a coach has to do. You're not going to always get the 5-star. They already said recruiting is going to be hard this year, right? You need to develop talent. Talent developer is going to be, I can guarantee this, man. Charles Barkley, guarantee. Talent developer is going to be a focal point on a lot of people, because if you're playing in user dynasties and you have to get 3 stars and you have to get those broken 3 stars or whatever, developing the talent could be a really good wave. Whereas the big powerhouse schools that has a crazy good recruiting pipeline, they may not have to focus on talent development so much because they got the talent. Now again, you get some of those programs, like I said, Bama, you know, not only did they get the top talent, they're really good at developing them too. So you can get both, but you're not gonna be able to get in this game. You're not gonna be able to do both, right? So just keep that in mind with talent developer, okay? That's basically everything that I pulled out of this. I'm very curious to see what y'all think about it. But other than that, it's your favorite old head, Uncle Demi. I'll be back again with another banger. You know, when I say back to another banger, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about tomorrow, man. I'm out.